Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Welcome ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to show you what the difference is in the ppms or the particulates in the water that you guys drink on a regular basis, be it distilled water, be it just regular store-bought water in a bottle, be it your tap water, and or your reverse osmosis water if you have a reverse osmosis system. Today I am only going to show you what the difference is in particulates. I have a ppm pen, and what this shows you is the particulates per million inside of your water of foreign matter that's not water. All right, so if there's a little bit of dust in there, let's say for example, it's not water, this is going to pick it up and it's going to show you how many parts per million of foreign matter there is in there in regards to water and that foreign matter. Now this doesn't test the pH or acidity or alkaline level or anything like that. It just tests the particulates per million. But I just want to give you a really good example of how important it is to have a good filtration system in your home, even if it's not for, quote, SHTF, unquote. Now, if I remember correctly, water that is somewhat safe to drink, let's say for example city water, utility water, is usually less than 200 ppms. Bottled water that comes from the store usually ranges between 50 and 60 ppms. Distilled water should be 0. There should be no ppms in there at all. And reverse osmosis water should range anywhere between 5 ppms, I would say, to 20 ppms, depending on how old your filters are. Now, we've all heard the stories in the news about cities that had bad water coming out of their tap for years, and people got sick from it just because they did not know that their water was dirty and contaminated with heavy metals that's not good for their bodies. So what I'm attempting to do here today is encourage you to invest on some kind of a filtration system that you can use on an everyday basis, even if you're using it to test the tap water out of your sink. Now, I know that one of our community members, Keith Brookshire, works in the water utility industry. He works in a water plant where they clean water and they pump that water to everyone's tap. And he assured me that the plant that he works in is a great plant, that the water that he produces there or cleans there and sanitizes there actually goes to his own home. However, that may not be the case everywhere you live. So I encourage you to at least pick one of these up, or you can go ahead and have your water tested. I'm not sure how much it costs. I think maybe $10 or so it might cost to have your water tested, but do one or the other. That way you know that the water that you are drinking is safe for you to drink. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place a sample of the distilled water in 1 cup, the drinking water from the store in another cup, test them, and then I'm going to come back and place a sample of my tap water in 1 cup and my reverse osmosis water in the other cup to show you guys what the difference in ppms is. So the first one that we're going to check out is going to be our distilled water. And like I said, distilled water should have 0 ppms, if not extremely low, but 0 should be ideal for distilled water. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. We're going to pour some in this cup here. Hopefully I won't make a mess. Just going to pour a little bit in there. I'm going to go ahead and swirl this around and dump it in that bowl. That way if there was anything in there, hopefully it came out. So if this came up with like 1 or 2 ppms, I would understand, because there might be a little bit of dust in there or something like that. Now this is a very inexpensive tool, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see here, it's very easy to use. All you do is turn this thing on, and you can see that it turns on. Actually, this is the right way to look at it. And right now it says 0 ppm. All you do is you put it in the water here, and look at that. It's ranging between 0 and 1, but it's staying at 0. So you can see that this distilled water passes the test. It's supposed to be 0 ppms, which means that there are no foreign particulates in there, and that this water is what is advertised as saying. Now you may be asking, why did I take the names off of these containers? The reason I took the name of the companies off of these containers, or the brand, is just in case this test didn't turn out to their favor, okay? But I just want to show you this as an example. So there you go. That's our distilled water. Now let's go ahead and open up our drinking water. Now, like I said, drinking water is supposed to range like between, I don't know, I would say 50, 60 ppms, which is a lot cleaner than the water that comes out of your tap. Usually the water that comes out of your tap can be as much as like 200 ppms. There we go. We cleaned that one out. Let's go ahead and fill it up. And then this is nice clean water. So what we'll do is we're going to keep this distilled water here to clean our pen every time that we use it. So let's go ahead and put this in here. You can see that it's still on, and it's on 0. Let's bring this forward and see where it's at. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is showing. Let me put it on hold, because you put it on hold here, where we'll hold the last reading. 79 ppm. Now that's what you're paying for when you pay the $2.99 or whatever it is that you're paying when you buy store-bought drinking water. Okay, and this is really not bad, right? Compared to tap and stuff like that, this is really not bad. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in here. Get rid of this water. Now we're going to go over to my sink and get a sample of tap water. Here we are at our sink. We're just going to go ahead and fill that up a little bit. And that's enough. We'll go ahead and take it back to the counter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are. Here is our tap water. And here is our pen. Let's take it off hold. I think it's still on hold. Okay. So here's our pen. And as you can see, I have it in the distilled water here to make sure that it's clean. And let me go ahead and show you. That way you can see that it's on 0. Okay, so it's on 0. This is our tap water right here. And let's see. I don't even see what it's at. And look at that. That's incredible. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and let me show you here, but I'm going to put it on hold so you guys can see. So I'm definitely very happy that we don't drink this tap water. Look at that, 198. So that's what's coming out of my tap. This is the city water that I get, right, from the city. So this 198 is almost, what, about 2.5, almost 3 times as much as that water that you buy in a bottle. Okay, now I want to show you the reverse osmosis water, because the reverse osmosis water, in my opinion, is the best bang for your buck over time. Now this here is the spigot that I install on my sink that connects to my reverse osmosis system, and it's very easy to use. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to clean this out really good. I'm going to fill it up. And there should be plenty. And now we'll take it to the counter and test it. Alright, and we went ahead and cleaned off our pen in the distilled water to make sure it's 0. And there you go. And this is our reverse osmosis water. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and put it on hold. I'm very impressed with this system. And there you go. 9 ppms. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and break down the price of the system that I have. Although you have systems that are of different brands, of different prices. But I can tell you about the one that I have. This is my reverse osmosis system. To some it may seem complicated, but it's not. Actually, all of this stuff here is just extra tubing and stuff that came with it. It's comprised of a reservoir or a holding tank. And then here are all the filters. This system took me about an hour to install. And it really was not complicated because it came with good instructions. One of the disadvantages of this system is that it takes up a lot of room. So this here is a 24-inch cabinet. and it's taking up the entire area. So you're going to need to have room to install this if you want to install one of these. Now, this is not the only kind of reverse osmosis system there is. I've seen reverse osmosis systems that are like that you can put on the countertop, right? But the point I'm getting at is that for a very good price per gallon of water, you can get a good system that will assure you good clean water all the time, instead of rolling the dice with the water that comes out of your tap, not knowing how good it is or not. At the very least, I would say that getting a ppm pen or having your water tested at least once every 6 months or so is a great idea, just to make sure that what you're ingesting is not doing you any harm. This system cost me $269, so let's say $270. And I've had it for 4 years now. That means that I've spent roughly, I don't know, $70 or so per year on being able to drink clean water and knowing that it's clean. So if you divide $70 by 365, this system so far has cost me about 20 cents a day to get my water from it, my drinking water and my cooking water. Some of you may ask, are the filters that you need to replace expensive? Well, the system came with an extra set of filters. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, after 4 years, I'm still on my first set of filters, because this system is rated for 50 gallons of water per day, and we don't use nearly 50 gallons of water per day for cooking and drinking. So it's rated for 50 gallons a day. We use maybe 10 at the most. So this system right here will probably last me another 2 or 3 years before I even have to change the filter. How do I know when I have to change the filter? I just do a pen reading like we just did with the cups and see what the ppms are at. I figure that once the ppms get up above 15 or so, it's time to change the filters. And or if I start losing pressure from the system to the spigot because the filters are getting dirty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourselves, is 20 cents a day to have a system that provides you with clean water a good investment? I think it's a great investment. That's one of the preps that I think everyone should have using all the time, because it prevents you from getting water that's dirty without you knowing it until, in some cases, it's too late. Take this bottle of water, for example. I asked my wife to pick up this bottle of water from the gas station for me yesterday on her way home. This bottle of water, I didn't ask her how much it was, but let's say that it was $1, which I really doubt. I'm pretty sure it was a lot more than $1. But let's say that this bottle of water cost me $1. Well, that's 5 days of what it would cost you to have a reverse osmosis system. And how many of these do you think you can produce in 5 days? In 5 days, you can maybe produce 50 gallons. You know, like for example, we only use maybe 10 gallons a day of drinking and cooking water. So imagine in 5 days how many times you can refill this one bottle of water for the same price that you paid for it. So even if you're just interested in having a cost savings measure, it's worth it. But if you're interested in making sure that you're drinking water and that the water that your family is drinking is safe to drink, you can go a couple of ways. You can purchase it in bottles like this, if you can afford it, or you can get a reverse osmosis system where you know it's going to be safe to drink because you can test it yourself. Now, these little pens are only like $7-10, something like that, so they're not expensive. They take L44 batteries that you change right here. So once the batteries run out, it's easy to replace them. It's not like once the batteries run out, you have to throw this away. I've had this for as long as I had that reverse osmosis system. So that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I wanted to show you today, because I think it's very important that we know that the water that we're drinking is safe. Listen, more than likely, 95+% or 99+%, who knows, of the utilities out there, of the water utilities out there, are safe to drink. There's nothing wrong with the water. Everyone's doing their job. No problems. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is that 1% or that 0.5% that's not, how many people can that hurt? So how much will it hurt for someone to just have a backup and have a reverse osmosis system? That is my favorite type of filtration system there is while the grid is up. Now, I also believe that you should have a gravity-fed system just in case the grid goes down, because that reverse osmosis system I just showed you needs pressurized water to be able to work. It needs at least 40 pounds per square inch in order for it to work. All right, so if you don't have that pressure, it's not going to work. And if you try to do the same test, I believe, with a Berkey, I haven't done this test with a Berkey yet, with the Berkey system, but if you try to do the same test, you're going to get ppms, because that Berkey system does have a filter that's ceramic. And a lot of those little bits sometimes come off. They're not bad for you, but a lot of those little bits sometimes come off, and they will be picked up by this. However, I do stand by the Berkey. I think that the water it produces is very good, and whatever ppms are in there are not harmful to you. At least that's my understanding. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for joining in. I really hope that you guys got something out of this, and I hope it gets you to thinking about how clean is your water really. All right? Have a great day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I'm out.